this, you're probably watching the replay, and I'm glad you're here. If you do me a favor and put in the comments where you're watching from, I'd like to know that. We're going to have dinner together tonight. I've done this a couple of times before. Let me just check audio and check in with you guys. Is audio coming through okay? Audio sounds like it's good. Okay, good. And for those of you watching live, I'd love to see in the comments where you're joining from. So put it in there and let me know. We're going to make spaghetti tonight, and then we're going to have dinner together, and we're going to just chat. So if you haven't had a chance to have dinner with your dad, tonight's your chance. And if you want to fix it with me, I tried to post beforehand, but I put the menu out. I didn't put all the ingredients, but we're going to do spaghetti, and I've got some French bread that we're going to make some garlic toast out of. And I'll probably, just because I want to have a well-rounded meal, we'll cook some veggies to go with it. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to grab the ingredients, and I didn't stage anything. Maybe I should have. I've got the pasta. Let's see. I need the meat. And I saved a half an onion to put in there, and I am not doing homemade pasta sauce. You'll see most of the stuff that we've got here is from Great Value because stepmom works at Walmart and they're the closest store, and we get most of our stuff from there. So we're going to cook the noodles. We're going to, instead of hamburger, a lot of times I'll just use hamburger, but I got a pound of sausage I bought thinking I would use it for something else. I'm going to use sausage instead. So we're going to use sausage and pasta, and I'm going to chop up some onion and put that in there too. And we're going to kick it up a little bit with some fresh garlic in there as well. So let's get started. Whenever you're cooking, here's Stepdad's rules. You want to start in a clean kitchen. I posted that video a little bit earlier, but I've got most all the dishes washed up. The dishwasher's emptied. I've put the dirties that we have in there. So we're ready to go to cook. We need a pan to cook the noodles in, and we need a pan to cook the sauce in. So this one's probably overkill for the noodles because it's only me and stepmom that are eating dinner tonight, but I'll get the noodle water heating and grab a pan for the sauce. I'll probably just use this one. I have a lid that fits this one. If I want to simmer, I can put the lid on to cover it with. All right, now when I'm cooking noodles, I don't know if you need to or not, but I put a little salt in the water. And I've heard it said that if you put a little oil in the water, it doesn't stick as much. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do it since someone told me that. So I'm just pouring a little bit in for that too. And that's probably enough. And we'll get that heating on the back. Let me get that out of the way. Hope you guys had a good holiday. How was yours? You can put it in the comments and let me know. We're going to get started, or we're going to keep going with this then. We've got the sausage. Instead of, you can use ground beef if you want to just use ground beef. If you want meat, you don't have to have any. You can buy the sauce that has meat in it too if you just want to do that. This is just traditional pasta sauce, so I'm going to put the onions and the ground beef in together. And the way, I'll do it over here. Can you see that okay? Down here? Okay, good. I've got someone helping me today, so I'm not seeing the screen as I go. And I appreciate it. I'm just going to call him Joe if I have to refer to him. So I just drop a knife through this and then squeeze it out if you get it wrapped in something like this. And we'll put that in the pan. What when I was a kid growing up, you know, my whole channel is for young men growing up without a dad. And it's not that I don't love the young ladies too. And I'm glad you're here. If you're a young lady watching this, you are more than welcome. But as a kid growing up, and I would sit on the bar stool in the kitchen and just watch my mom cook until I got old enough to help, and she started having me help. And of course, she was gone a lot when I got home from school or wherever else. So if I got hungry and I knew how to cook, I would just start cooking myself at that point. Okay. Now we're gonna put this on the stove and start that cooking. And I'm gonna chop the onion and I'm gonna chop the garlic. But I'm gonna wash my hands first. Whenever you handle raw meat, it's a good idea to wash your hands after. And that's a really good thing, because there's flecks of sausage coming off my hands. All right, this is a good skill to have if you're newly on your own, way to college, moving out for the first time, and you haven't learned how to cook. Then cooking is going to do a lot of things for you, not the least of which is satisfy your appetite. But if you go to Domino's or order pizza or eat out a lot or DoorDash, you're going to be spending a lot more money for food, and you're going to have a lot less healthy food than if you're fixing it yourself. I'm going to grab my favorite knife for this. This is my Japanese steel con knife. It's the only knife I've ever gotten that came with instructions. Scan a QR code to go to the website to see how to take care of your knife. And it doesn't go in the dishwasher. All right, I've got a half an onion. I had a recipe earlier this week that called for a medium onion. All I have is large. It seems like that's all they sell. So I cut it in half and saved half for this. So I'm just gonna chop it up. It didn't, a lot of times chopping onions triggers the old tears. It didn't do it for me last time. Hopefully it won't this time. If it does, I'll just say it was an emotional video we had. So I'm just chopping this up, and I'll throw that in with the sausage as that browns. How many of you guys saw the Dad versus Chef video that I did a month ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago? It was a Danish Christmas dessert we did. Chef Jeffrey and I are working on another one now. So we'll see. In fact, that was the recipe I used the half the onions for earlier this week. Joe, any comments or questions or anything that okay, cool. All right, so we're chopping this up. That's probably good. Get the when you've got utensils that you're cooking with, I always just get a plate out, set it there, and I put this on here. I like to use wood when I'm doing this, so it doesn't scratch the pan. This is a non-stick pan, but it's not the newest, so, but we still want to take care of it. Hopefully this pan will be big enough to hold all of the sauce by the time we're done. All right, while this is starting to brown, I'm going to give it a minute before I put the onions in, and then we'll deal with the clove of garlic too. Actually, I'm going to start getting that ready too. I want to get the vegetables on too, so they can be ready to cook. They won't take as long. Whenever you're cooking, you want to start with whatever takes the longest, and then work your way down so that ideally all the food is ready at the same time. I'm going to drop that 2 cloves of garlic. And we'll go for 2, why not? Okay, I'm going to set those there, put this aside. Another thing I try to do is clean as you go. If you clean as you go, you don't make as big a mess to have to clean up when you're done all the way. All right, I'm going to slide the onions over. Actually, maybe I'll just go throw them in. They can brown with the sausage. Probably grab the lid for these too. Any of you guys cooking dinner with me tonight, or are you just going to watch tonight? If you're watching the replay, then I encourage you to give this a try. Get the ingredients. This is a pretty easy thing to fix, and it can be impressive. And one of the things is then you've got leftovers. If you've got leftovers, you don't have to cook every evening, and you don't have to rely on DoorDash to get food, or McDonald's or wherever, your fast food of choice. I had a question once come in from a guy, kind of touching, because he was an older teenager and he was basically in charge of him and his younger brother. And he asked about grocery shopping. If you want to know how to grocery shop, I did a video just for him on how to grocery shop. And it actually starts by menu planning. So you need to think about what it is you want to have for dinner and plan accordingly, and then you write down the ingredients that you need for the 2 or 3 meals you're going to cook in the course of the week. And then that's what you go get when you go shopping. Alright, I probably should have chopped that onion a little more, but it'll work. Okay, so our sausage and our onion are browning. The water for the noodles is coming along. We need to get to the garlic toast. Alright, I'm going to use a different board for that one. You're going to need to see down here. Is the counter visible? Okay, good. Alright, when Mom used to make this garlic toast, or garlic bread to go with spaghetti and noodles, she would take the loaf and she would cut the whole thing. Actually, she'd cut it this way, but not all the way through to the bottom. She'd leave it connected at the bottom, and then she'd melt butter and put garlic on it, and then just brush that on each side, both sides of the bread, wrap it in foil, put it in the oven, and heat it that way. I'm not going to do the whole loaf, so I'm going to do it a slice at a time, and I'm going to do it the Stepdad way. So the Stepdad way is cut as many slices as you want. Let's see, we got to get some for Stepmom, and she's home. I'll just do 4. You got to love air holes in bread. You can't avoid them, but we'll butter the side that doesn't have the bigger part of the air hole on it. All right, so now I'm going to take these and I'm just going to butter them, and then we'll sprinkle some garlic salt on. Okay, our water's boiling. So I am going to butter it generously on one side. I'm just going to do one side. And there's different ways you can make it. If you guys have ways that you've made it that you would recommend, put it in the comments so others can see too. And I'm glad you're joining me for dinner tonight. All right, that water's going. I think I'm going to put the noodles in. The noodles probably only need about 10 minutes. So it might be a little early for the noodles. But I'm not going to do the whole package. That would be more than I need. I'll be right back. I gotta grab the scissors. And come off. I'm probably going to do about a half a package. Depends on how many you want. If you have some pasta spoons come like this with holes in them for portions of how many noodles fit through there before you cook them to let you know how many servings you're actually making. I'm just going to put in half a package. if you have a spaghetti measure, then you can do that. I did this once before. I did a video on making spaghetti dinner, and I busted the noodles in half, and I found out that Italians don't like it. So I want you all to know I'm repenting, and I am not busting the noodles in half this time. We'll do about half the package. Okay. Now, I don't know if you want to bring it over and see. It doesn't quite fit in. You go around wide. So I'm working it in. This is a big pan. If it doesn't fit in the pan you have when you're doing this, they'll soften pretty quickly, and then they'll get in there. So you don't have to offend the Italians. You can let me get a different plate for this one. That's what happens when you do it live. I can get that out of you. I didn't want to put this on the same one that I've got my meat one on because it's got raw meat on it. So, all right, now over here, you can see the sausage is browning. There's pink still in here, and the onions are starting to turn kind of clear, and that's what we want. When that gets all the way cooked, or almost all the way cooked, we'll go ahead and put the sauce in. And I want to get the garlic cloves going too. So we're going to do this. Oh, I'm going to start the timer for spaghetti noodles. We'll go with 8 minutes and check them. I've had them in for probably a couple minutes. So let's see. All right. I think I've told this story once before. But one time I was learning how to cook. Now I've got this on medium heat. So medium heat to brown it. We'll drain it once it's finished browning and try to scoop out the fat. And then we'll add the sauce, and we're hardly good to go as far as that goes. We'll go back over here now. So I was fixing a recipe once, and Mom was still at work, and it was, I think it was tuna noodle casserole, some kind of a casserole, and it called for potato chips, so potato chip crumbs, so you would save your end of potato chip bags and put that in. That actually added the salt. But I remember as a kid, I'm putting this in there, and I'm thinking, this just looks gross. I got soggy potato chips in this soupy milk pan. I was sure that I had just messed it up. And of course, as a teenager, wasn't fully mature. Got so disappointed that I'd ruined dinner that I just stopped. And then when Mom got home from work, she looked at it and says, "There's nothing wrong here. This is where it's supposed to be." And she hurried and finished it for me and got it in the oven. But I was just convinced that I'd messed it all up. This soggy potato chips in a soupy mix. Who uses that? Okay, let's see. Now I need some garlic powder. I wonder if I've got a small one. Alright, well, I probably don't. So I'll have to be careful with the big one. Manual garlic. Oh, this one's a little more fine. Okay, so we've got some garlic. I'm just going to sprinkle that on these. Is it not working? It got quiet? Let's switch. Grab the other one and see. Sounds like we might have an audio problem here. Let me see if I turn this one on, if that's any better. A little bit of a delay, so we'll check it and see. Thank you. Is audio check. If you're hearing me, let me know. Put it in the comments if you can hear me okay. Is that working? Okay. Sounds like we're doing okay. All right, so back to the garlic toast. So we're doing pretty well over there, I think. 5 minutes on the noodle timer. Oh man, okay, so I'm just sprinkling some of this garlic on this. Maybe that's too much, maybe it's not enough. I think it'll be about right. Now I'm gonna put these in here. This is just our little toaster oven. And we'll toast those when we got about 4 minutes to go for dinner. All right. Is it red solid or red blinking? Red solid? Okay, and you've got the earbud in still? Oh, we got audio again? Okay, so sorry about that. I guess we had some audio challenges. Okay, actually bring it over here. Well, yeah, bring it over here. We're going to drain this fat. You want to bring the camera over here because I want to show draining the fat. This is... So we're at the point where the sausage is browned pretty much. There's a little bit, but that's okay because that'll cook the rest of it. So I push it up to one side of the pan and then let the fat drain to the other end. Now I'm going to grab a spoon and we'll just spoon out as much of that as we can get so that we don't have a ton of fat in there. I think I'm going to turn the noodles down too because I think they're going to be done before everything else. But we're doing okay. All right, so then we just spoon the fat out as much as you can get. Try not to hit the pan. If you do, if you touch it, you won't burn right away. If you leave your finger on it for a second, you might. So you don't want to do that. But all this fat we don't want in our sauce. We're still good audio? All right, good. So I did one of these. I don't know if you've watched them, but if you guys are watching, I did one of these live by myself, and I appreciate having help here for this one to monitor. Halfway through, I lost audio. I think I bumped my phone that has a little mic sender unit on it. And so for the last half of the whole live stream, there was no audio. So we don't want to do that. All right, that's the timer for the noodles. Let's check the noodles. Back in the day, I would grab the noodles and throw them on the wall, and if they stuck, they were done. These are feeling pretty good. It's kind of firm, and that's okay because you want it firm. I guess it depends on your taste. But I'm just going to turn that way down, and we'll let that simmer. Now, I don't want to do that too long because they'll keep cooking, but we're okay for another 5 minutes or so. After that, I'd probably drain them to make sure they don't overcook. All right, so we're ready with this. I need to get the garlic and the sauce in here. And we're going to do that next. How many of you guys had dinner with your family? Did you do that a lot or not at all? Sorry, get that out of your way. I might even be able to set that over here for now, but I'm the youngest of my siblings, so we had dinner a lot when I was younger. As I got older and I was the only one left at home, then Mom and I would just eat in front of the TV and stuff. Before I chop these up, I'm going to smash it. So I just put the flat part of the blade down, press on it, and you hear that crunch. Here, I'll give you the full experience. So now they're kind of smashed. I should be careful with the mic since we've had audio problems, but now I'll chop them up with the knife, and then we'll put that in with the meat and the onions. All right, garlic's kind of a strong thing, so you don't need much, and you don't want it all in one bite, so I do want to get these kind of small. I hear it has a lot of health benefits too, not just to keep vampires away. Okay, so I've got that all kind of minced, chopped up a little bit, and enough, and then I'm going to put that in with the meat. We'll stir that around, and then we'll add our sauce to this. And then we're ready to go. Now, you don't have to do the onion. You don't have to do the garlic. It just kind of kicks it up a notch, and it's not hard to add on. So if you're making dinner for your girlfriend or someone you want to impress, then you can do this, and it will probably impress her. Oh, man, I forgot the veggies. If you forget the veggies, it won't impress her. Okay, let me grab a pan and get the veggies going. Sorry about the noise. I'm just going to cheat tonight and do frozen veggies. Peas are really good by themselves. I like this mix, so we'll just do the mix. And these are also easy. I'm just going to throw them in a pan. Leftovers are a good thing to have if you cook more than you need. Add enough water to just cover them. And then we'll get those cooking. All right, this is the, not crunch time, but this is the trick of cooking, especially cooking by yourself, is making sure you keep up with everything without burning anything, ideally. Okay, I'm gonna move this off here. I'll just use this stove for the veggies that's already hot and turn it on to high. Once the veggies boil, they're ready to go, the frozen ones. Then I'll get these back in the freezer. And the toast is ready, or not ready, it's ready to cook. I think we're ready to add the sauce to the meat mixture. After this, we'll drain the noodles and just let them stay moist in some steam. But that will stop them from cooking too much. All right, here goes the sauce. When we're done cooking, we're going to sit down and have dinner together. If you've got questions you want to ask Dad, have them ready in the comments, and we'll have a dinner chat. I don't know if you can see that mixed ratio of, this is how much sauce I've got to meat. So I've got a fair amount of meat in our sauce. Again, there's no right and wrong, and you don't even have to have meat in there if you just want to heat the sauce and do it. But I like a meat sauce with my spaghetti. If I'm eating out at an Italian restaurant, I'll get meatballs, but I don't cook meatballs. That's too much work. And really what I'm thinking of for you guys is easy food to cook that is nice, and it'll seem like you're really not a professional chef, but you're not a beginner. It's not like microwave oven, take it from the freezer, microwave it, and eat it. You're actually cooking when you do it. So it's a good skill to have, saves you money, helps you eat a healthier diet generally. Depends on what you cook and how much you eat. But it's generally just a better way to go if you're going to be living on your own. I'm going to rinse this out and then throw it in the recycle. So I'm trying to keep up as much as I can. Any in-between time I've got from cooking, food simmering, whatever, then clean up any mess you've made while you're going. It's a lot nicer to enjoy your dinner in a clean kitchen or knowing you haven't made a ton of dirty dishes. That's our recycle bin out there. Okay. That's going. This is heating. Okay, let's drain. We're going to drain our noodles. I need a colander for that. Sorry, that was probably noisy. I'm just going to put this colander in the sink and pour most of these noodles out. I want to leave a little water in the pan because I can keep them heated that way. So I may, now the last thing I want to do is spill a pan full of hot water. So I've got that positioned, hopefully so it won't. I can fish most of these out and put them in, and then I'll just pour the last of them. I may not even need to pour any of them. If I can scoop them all out of this, and I'm just doing this over the sink because the drips, I don't want them on the counter. Okay, it feels like I've gotten most of them. Oh, there's still some more coming up. I'm going to set this over the steaming water. That'll keep them warm. But it should stop it from cooking. All right, our sauce is looking good. Simmering. I think it's time to start the toast. So I'm just going to hit toast. We'll start it at 2 and see how that goes. All right, so now I've got a second. I can clean the counter off. Or look at some questions. If you guys have questions, don't forget to put them in the comments. We're going to sit down and have dinner. Oh, what am I drinking? I think, sorry, Joe, I keep going back and forth here. See how well you can keep up with me, right? If you're fixing a dinner for someone, you want to impress them, or you're fixing it for yourself and you want to enjoy it and feel like you know what you're doing, then frozen veggies probably wouldn't be your choice of the side dish. They're not bad. I've got a video on how to make a green salad. A green salad pairs really well with fresh spaghetti, a spaghetti dinner. So you might want to do a green salad to go with it too. But the frozen veggies or fresh veggies is also a good option. Okay, this knife is clean. I'll put that in the drainer. I think we're waiting on the veggies. Okay. Here's some spaghetti considerations. Oh, I need to get the counter. If you're a family guy, if you're feeding your kids and you're doing spaghetti, then I would take the sauce and mix it with the noodles, and then the ratio of noodles to sauce is consistent for the whole batch. I mean, you want to make sure you got the right amount for both, but then you don't have to worry about running out of sauce first or noodles after. But if you want to do it restaurant style, you gonna have some of this? You want some? Oh, okay, you got dinner. You got dinner covered. Okay, no worries. He knows my cooking. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Then I'll show you what we do with it in a minute. We're going to grab the plate, and we'll just put the noodles on the plate and then put the sauce on the noodles. And here's another difference too. Let me turn that down to simmer, because I think our sauce is pretty much done. We'll grab the plate we're going to serve it on. I guess we'll just get that ready over here. Now I think we're just kind of waiting for veggies and garlic toast, which is looking good. We'll sit down to dinner. All right. I got two. I'm just going to do 0-cal drink. If it was fancy, I'd get something nicer with our little wine goblet glasses and make it look fancy. But it's family dinner tonight, so we're not all fancy for family dinner. We're more practical when it comes to stuff like that. So how many of you guys are growing up that you don't have your dad in your life? That's who I do the channel for, but a lot of times it's not that you don't have a dad there. Maybe he's not engaged, maybe he is. When I was growing up, Dad wasn't there. My dad lived a couple states away from where I did. But there was a guy in my neighborhood, Mark Gould, and I talk about him in the book. You can get the book at the link if you want, The Map to Manhood. It's a guide for young men growing up without a dad. But Mark Gould did a lot of things with me. This is boiling now, so I think we're good. I'm just going to turn that off. And we're about ready to plate up here. That's the plate I dropped. That's the one for the pasta noodles. Why is it on the counter? Hopefully you've got someone in your life that can fill that role if you don't have your dad in your life. But it helped me a lot to have the guy in my neighborhood that did stuff with me, took me camping and whatnot. And he didn't show me how to cook. This is stuff I learned from Mom and on my own a little bit. But he did help me with stuff around the house and brakes and car stuff and home stuff. Okay, I think we're ready to plate up. So I'm going to grab my plate. I don't know if you want to bring it over here. You can go around the light if you need to too. Okay, so here's our noodles. They're looking good, about the right consistency. I'm just going to put some of those on the plate. None of them broken, so I haven't got the Italians mad at me. I hope, at least not for that. I probably will in a minute. Let me get a spoon for the sauce. So this is the fancier way to do it, is to keep the sauce separate from the noodles, and then you just put the sauce on the noodles, and you can put whatever ratio you want. That's probably about good. I'm going to cover these for, oh, I didn't get the lid out for that. I'm going to grab the lid from right down here. I'm going to turn that stove off and leave this here for when stepmom gets home. One of the things to notice too, it splatters. So this splatter is easier to wipe up when it's fresh than when it's dried. So when it's simmering, if you don't have the pan on, or the lid on, you can keep it cleaner by wiping it when it's fresh. Be real careful with a wet cloth on a hot stove, because water conducts heat almost like copper conducts electricity. So you can burn yourself with the rag really quickly if you're not careful. All right, this pan has these little built-in strainers in the lid. Really handy. Yours may not. If it doesn't, use a colander. But I'm just going to drain the veggies, and we'll throw some of those on the plate. Here's my plate. All right, now I'll back up, I guess. We're looking good. I shouldn't have had lunch today, then I'd really be hungry for this. All right, now with the veggies, same thing with these. I'm going to keep this warm for stepmom, because she'll be here before too long. Stoves are off. I'm actually going to set that on a cold stove because I don't want to have residual heat overcook or burn any on the bottom. A little butter on the veggies. It's up to preference if you like that, if you don't. And then salt and pepper. Now, if you want to do this right, you get fresh cheese and you grate it. But we've always used this kind of Parmesan cheese. This is probably where the Italians will not be happy with me, even though I didn't break the noodles. It's just used this kind of cheese on there, and I like that well enough. Fresh is better, but this works. And we are just about ready to sit down and eat, but we got to get our garlic toast. Let me get another plate for that. So, Mom's might have been better. A lot of what I have is not crunchy. This one looks like it's going to be crunchy. That's okay too. Again, it depends on your preference. But when we start using it to help hold our spaghetti on, it'll probably get a little soggy with that. So let's go to the table and we'll have dinner now. I'm going to grab a fork and a knife. This is the fun part. Go ahead. I'm going to sit over here. Sorry, just... And let's see. We probably don't need this. But if you want, you could plug that in over there and then set it back there. Oh, I got this one too. All right, you guys ready for dinner? Now this is the part where if you've got anything you want to talk about, this is what we do at dinner, is we have the family chat. So I'm going to peek and see, and I don't see comments coming in. Let me just check and see, and if not, that's fine too. We'll just have dinner and go from there. Okay, if any of you guys have any comments, questions, anything you'd ask Dad, now's a good opportunity. I'm going to lower that a little bit too. Hopefully I'm still in there. But we will see how we did with our dinner. Okay. Spaghetti dinner with, oh, salt and pepper. I like salt on my veggies. I got to grab that. Not so much the pepper on this blend, but on some. All right. I think when I bump the table, the camera vibrates, but let's see how it is, and we will go from there.
There.
Yes.
What mix of veggies do you
Oh, this is I want to say it's the California blend. It's not the California blend. Let me get it and show you. Where are you seeing the question, out of curiosity? Mixed veggies, carrots, green beans, corn, and peas. That's what I got. Okay. Oh yeah, okay. There it is. I do see that question. All right. Okay. All right, now we got to find out if we did any good or not. Remember, I used sausage instead of hamburger for this one, which that's fine. That's actually good with spaghetti. See, it's because the noodles aren't broken. It's too long. Hmm. What hood aids are for? What's that? Oh, good sides. Okay, got you. Oh, gotcha. Okay. How are you seeing that over there? Oh, gotcha. Oh, you're seeing it before me then. Spaghetti's not bad. I think we're in good shape. So if you wanted to impress a young lady, that's not the only reason you eat, but you could fix her this dinner and it wouldn't be terribly hard. And you've just gone through it with me now, so you know how. And it would be pretty impressive. So don't think you can't cook. If you need to or want to cook, give it a shot and see. It's going to be a skill that will help you, particularly if you're getting on your own. Now, you might need some of the things like pans and pots and the colander or some way to do it. But there's usually low-cost options if that's a factor for you, if that's a concern or that's an issue for you. So with that, I got to take a bite of my veggies. Need more salt. I am going to thank you for joining me for dinner with Dad today. And let me know in the comments what you would like to have for dinner next time. And maybe we'll fix that when we do this next time. Probably going to do this about once a month or so. We'll see how it goes. But I'd like you guys to have the opportunity to have dinner with Dad or dinner with family if you don't have that opportunity or didn't have that opportunity when you were growing up yourself. If you haven't downloaded the Map to Manhood, it's a guide for young men that have grown up without a dad. It's the lessons that I think you're at biggest risk of not getting if you have grown up without an involved, caring dad. From self-discipline to learning how to love, from relationship skills and to having a direction in life. You can get that at maptomanhood.org for free. It's just a free download with a graph. But more than just that, I hope if you download that, you'll actually do the actions that are on there, because that's what will help you be able to be successful in adulthood. And that would be, that's really what I'm hoping for you, for your own sake. All right, well, thank you for joining me for Dinner with Dad tonight. And I'm going to sign off now and let you know that you can succeed even if you don't have a dad. And you do have a dad that loves you. And I'll see you on the next live stream.